very much. This is Kit Bond, and I'm very honored to be on the Rudy Giuliani team. I am today endorsing most enthusiastically Mayor Giuliani to be the President of the United States. Rudy Giuliani has shown his leadership. He is an accomplished executive. In these difficult times, we need somebody who knows how to manage a large organization like New York City. He has the right vision for America. His conservative principles are ones that I believe not only do I support, but I think a vast majority of Missourians support. I think it's time to make America's mayor America's next president, and that's Rudy Giuliani. Now, Rudy and I have some differences, as I explained. He comes from the big city. He was mayor of New York. I'm a small-town guy from Mexico, Missouri. I'm governor. He thinks I talk funny. I think he talks funny. He's a Yankees fan. I'm a Cardinals fan. We both had a bad year. No question about that. He's from the Empire State. I'm from the Show Me State. But I'll tell you, as a Show Me State senator, he has shown me something. He showed me what a good executive can do going into a real mess in New York City. You know, the budget there was $2.3 billion out of balance. So what did he do? He cut taxes. But he also cut the bureaucracy. Cut the bureaucracy 20%, excluding policemen and teachers. And at the end of 8 years, he left it with a several billion-dollar surplus. Also, at the same time, New York had become a crime-ridden symbol of urban decay, and he went in and managed the security aspect of New York City to cut the crime rate in half, to cut the murder rate by 2/3. As a result, at the end of his term, New York City was a safe, prosperous place to go. 420,000 jobs were created. Welfare was cut in half. And it was a good place for residents to live, and it was also a good place for tourists to visit. He knows that terrorism is a continuing problem, and his leadership in 9/11 was outstanding. He brought compassionate leadership, and he restored the confidence of the American people. And he knows, as I know, that Al-Qaeda is still coming after it. From my position on the Intelligence Committee, I know that that is a continuing threat to the people of America. And he wants to fight it. He wants to fight terrorists abroad. He wants a strong military. He wants to enforce our border security, make our infrastructure safe, support the intelligence operations that are so necessary. America is hungry for a president who will say what he means and do what he says. The American people want and deserve a genuine leader, and that's Rudy Giuliani. Rudy has the leadership qualities and experience to handle whatever challenges America will face in the next 10 years. So it's a pleasure now for me to turn it over to Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Rudy, thank you, sir.
Thank you very, very much, Senator. It is a great, great honor to have your support in this campaign, to have your support in Missouri, and to have your support all over the country. The Senator will be a national co-chair of our campaign. He'll be our liaison with the Senate, talking to other senators and talking on our behalf throughout the country. His leadership in so many areas has been outstanding, in intelligence, in agriculture, in dealing with the issues that you deal with as a governor. He's someone who has both executive and legislative experience, and he's someone who really understands what's at stake right now in this Islamic terrorist war that we're in the middle of, and where we have to remain on offense, and we have to remain ahead of it in order to protect ourselves in the most effective way possible. So having his counsel, his advice, his support in Missouri, where we're going to have a February 5 primary, but also throughout the whole country, is enormously helpful to us, and I can't thank him enough. Thank you very much, Senator.
My pleasure, Rudy. Should we open up and see what kind of questions my friends have? Let's give it a try. Please state your name and your affiliation, and we're ready to go.
Yes, Mr. Giuliani, the man who is responsible for attacking your city and our country is still at large. One of your opponents, John McCain, has said if he's elected president, he'll follow Osama bin Laden to the gates of hell. What are you prepared to do about bin Laden?
Well, I think John put it most graphically and most correctly. I I would do everything I could to try to capture him. I've written about it in my book, Leadership, how important I believe it is to focus on bin Laden and capture him. One of our Republican colleagues, Republican opponents, actually once said he didn't think it was that important. He thought it was only symbolic, catching bin Laden. I don't agree with that. I think catching bin Laden is a substantively very, very important goal to reach. If you understand Islamic terrorism, you understand that charismatic leadership plays a role. It's perverse, but it plays a role. So I would spend a tremendous amount of effort trying to make sure we are doing everything we can to catch bin Laden, and I would consider it a big, big strategic victory for us if we were able to capture him.
Dan, I happen to know a good deal about that because we deal with that every day. I have been to the Fatah in Pakistan, the edge of that ungovernable territory. I have seen what happens and heard what happened to the Pakistan Army when they tried to go in. This is an extremely hostile area. If you're from a neighboring valley, you can get killed going into one of those areas. Now, that does not mean we are not making a full effort. All I can tell you is that every lead is being followed, and we need the continued support of a president like Rudy Giuliani. Maybe we'll capture him. Maybe we'll kill him. Maybe we'll get Ayman al-Zawahiri. Maybe not. But those two are the top two. Whoever is number 3 in Al-Qaeda has been the chief operator, and that's the one who makes the decisions. And the life expectancy of one of those guys is usually 6 months or less. But when it comes to 1 and 2, they maintain radio silence and they're dug in. We get the ones that pop up, but we are going to get high value targets 1 and 2. It's taking time. Not as quick as we'd like, but we will get them.
Mayor Giuliani, as Senator Bond alluded to, you do have some differences not only in where both of you grew up and governed, but also on issues of social policies. Do you think your positions on, for example, abortions and gun control make it difficult for you to compel rural voters in Missouri to support your campaign?
I don't believe so. I think there is so much more to agree about than disagree about that we're going to be able to get a great deal of support in rural Missouri and other places in the country. On gun issues, I don't think there's any real difference. It is true, as mayor of New York, I very, very aggressively enforced the gun laws in New York, but my focus as far as guns are concerned is to get them out of the hands of criminals. And I was pretty darn successful at it. We reduced shootings in New York by 74%. I respect the Second Amendment. I understand it gives people an individual right to bear arms. I would do nothing to interfere with that. And, of course, I agree with it, but even if I didn't, there's a constitutional protection, and I'm a strict constructionist. On all of the rest of the issues, I really think the place for common ground is on judges. I mean, I would appoint, if I were president, about 200 judges. That's roughly what you appoint in 4 years. If I had the good fortune to have 8 years, it would be 400 judges. You will find that those judges will be conservative judges, strict constructionist judges. The head of my Judicial Advisory Committee is Ted Olson, one of the most prominent conservative lawyers in the country. I would have appointed, just as easily as President Bush, Sam Alito or John Roberts. I work with both men. Nino Scalia was a colleague of mine from the Ford administration, and Justice Thomas. Those are the kinds of judges that I would seek to appoint. It'd be a real difference, for example, if Hillary Clinton were president, she would appoint 200 very different kinds of judges. They'd be judges who were social activists, judges who, I believe, rather than interpret the Constitution, try to make it up. So that may be one of the single most important things at stake in the next election. Who gets to appoint the judges? And I would appoint conservative judges.